crown jewel of the F1 calendar is upon us. Monaco Grand Prix is this weekend, and we need to make our predictions about what's going to happen. After a couple of weeks off of no races, we're back, baby, in the Principality of Monte Carlo, racing around the circuit of Monaco. The city streets will be alive, the fans will be rabid, and the predictions are going to be spicier than ever. Let's get into it. We're going to start with our biggest positive surprise of the weekend, and I am going to go a little bit homery, if you couldn't tell by the shirt I decided to wear tonight. We are going to be predicting that Kevin Magnussen is going to have a good weekend in Monaco. He's had some history there before, some good finishes, some good results. It's entirely pure feeling, but I think it just in my gut that Kevin Magnussen is going to show up this weekend. He's been kind of feeling it ever since Miami. We saw him battle his way forward to P4 in qualifying, finishing in the points in Florida here in the United States. And we now go to Monaco, where I just have this weird feeling that Kevin Magnussen is going to come out and just absolutely smash it. It's going to be one of Haas's best finishes to date, and I can't wait to see it. And if you're new here, in these prediction videos, I like to do a thing with my Twitch chat over at Mr. Dakota Zero on Twitch, where I also give them an opportunity to make their predictions, and we'll see how we do compared to each other at the end of the race weekend. But for this prediction, the biggest positive surprise, my chat has gone with, very similarly to my pick with Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon. Williams seems to have a pretty decent car this season, and we think that Alex Albon could be in for a very good weekend. The Williams might do well around Monaco. It's very slippery, not necessarily as prone to dirty air that we seem to think so. So can Albano make his way forward? And we're predicting an Albano points finish. Our next prediction is the complete opposite of our first. We're going with our biggest disappointment. And for me, it pains me to say it because they did bring out a fire livery for Monaco. I am going with McLaren. They bring a very fun one-off livery to Monaco, but unfortunately, I think McLaren is still just not up to snuff. And I think the biggest disappointment of this weekend is going to be McLaren. I think they might just struggle around Monaco, and we've seen before that if they just have one bad qualifying session and they can just be stuck at the back and not be able to move forward much. And if we're talking about a place that you don't want to do that, I think Monaco might just be it. And you know what? Monaco very rarely is the place, for super special things to happen. Once the grid is set, that's kind of it. And so, unfortunately, McLaren, you're my biggest disappointment of this F1 weekend. And as for my chat, they've gone with a bit of a kicking him while he's down, but they have gone for Nick de Vries. He has really struggled so far as a Formula E world champion and a very, very experienced race car driver. He's just not had a very good start to his season. Already seeing rumblings that he might get replaced if he doesn't turn it around, and soon. And unfortunately for him, Monaco rarely is what the doctor orders to fix struggles. Those walls are close, the circuit is tight, and really it's no room for error. And a guy who has had some issues with not making mistakes, Monaco very rarely is the place to have those kinds of races. So unfortunately, Nick de Vries, you're my chat's biggest disappointment of the F1 race weekend. Our next prediction has to do with the most exciting part of the Monaco race weekend. We are giving our qualifying predictions here in Monaco. I mean, this is really where the magic is made, and barring any major blunders on race day, this usually was a pretty good indicator of how the finishing order is going to go. So for my qualifying results in P3, I have gone for Fernando Alonso. I think Fernando has been talking up a big game when it comes to Monaco. He's been saying that he might be Aston Martin's best chance at a race win this season, and I think he's going to come in very excited. Unfortunately, I think it just might not be enough, but a P3 finish in qualifying around Monaco is nothing to shake a stick at, Fernando. It'll be good enough. Coming in P2, the runner-up front row starts for the Monaco Grand Prix, I have gone for Max Verstappen. The Red Bull, it may not be the Red Bull's strongest circuit, but that Red Bull is still extremely good, and I think they are going to be very, very quick around Monaco. And Max, I think, is going to be good enough. to get you P2 in a front row start, but I don't think it's going to be enough to upseat who I have taking pole position. And speaking of my pole prediction, I have gone for, and I'm channeling my inner Matt Gallagher over there at P1 with Matt and Tommy, where I say, all right, hear me out. The hometown hero, Charles Leclerc, takes that Ferrari, which has pained him many times over the course of the season, in his hometown, in front of his friends and family and city, puts it on pole position once again in Monaco, giving Ferrari another opportunity to right the wrongs of what they did to him last season, where he starts on pole and the biggest strategy blunder you can make in Monaco makes him finish in P4 off the podium. Charles Leclerc puts it on pole once again, giving Ferrari another opportunity. We're going to be potentially seeing a very similar storyline to Daniel Ricciardo. We've seen it before, getting wronged one year, coming back even stronger in the future. I think Charles Leclerc puts it on pole position in Monaco. And as for my chats, they have gone for relatively similar-ish. In P3, they have gone for Sergio Perez. A very strong pick, if I do say so myself. Checo is very strong around street circuits, we know, and he even put it on pole position last year here in Monaco. So it could be a good day for Checo if it's working for him. In P2, they have also gone for Max Verstappen. They are very keen to keep a Red Bull two spots of the top three is a pretty safe assumption to make. But at the same time, they join me as pole position, as predicted by my chat, Charles Leclerc. There's something special about Charles in Monaco, and while Ferrari may let him down, we think that Charles is going to put it on pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix. They may go hand in hand a lot of the time around Monaco, but we are giving our race results predictions anyway. Here in Monaco, the south of France, here are my podium spots for the Monaco Grand Prix. In P3, the bottom step of the podium, I mentioned him before. He is very good around street circuits. He did very well around Monaco last year. We think Sergio Perez, I think is going to make his way forward. Probably not have to go too far forward in that RB19, but I think Sergio Perez occupies P3 on the podium in Monaco. Standing on the next step, I don't think anyone would be too shocked for me to say that Max Verstappen taking P2 in Monaco, it would be very tough, but I think the Red Bull is good enough to have another double podium in them around Monaco. But I don't think, and I will be darned if I don't try and break the curse for this man, the winner, my winner of the Monaco Grand Prix in the year of our Lord 2023, Charles Leclerc. The city erupts in elation. The Monegasque breaks the Monaco curse. He finished last year after an entire career of never finishing in Monaco, or sometimes not even starting a race in Monaco. Charles Leclerc will occupy the top step in the Principality of Monaco. It will be the largest party we've ever seen, and Charles Leclerc gives Ferrari their first win of the season and his first win in Monaco. And as for my chat, they also need to get in on the action a little bit. That said, they're kind of taking the opposite side. They think a Ferrari disaster class is imminent. And for them, they have gone with a Sergio Perez P3, Fernando Alonso P2, and a Max Verstappen win. They think Fernando Alonso is going to have an absolute banger of a race. Perfectly timed strategy, perfectly timed drive, and they think Alonso is going to make his way up onto the podium. Not enough for a win, but enough for a second step following Max Verstappen and getting another win for Red Bull this season. That'd be a bit of a doldrum. It would be fun to see Alonso take a P2 from Checo every once in a while, but man, it would be dependent. I guess it would depend on entirely how close it is, but that's their predictions for the race results. And of course, lastly, but surely not leastly, as you can imagine, if you've been here before, it would not be this channel and it would not be me if I didn't make my Haas predictions of the race weekend. I'm feeling very good about Haas this weekend. We have Nico Hülkenberg, who's due for a bounce back performance. We have Kevin Magnussen coming off of a very solid performance in Miami. So my prediction, official Haas prediction of the race weekend: 2 cars into Q2, 1 car into Q3, 1 car points finish in Monaco. I think that Haas is in a bit of a good spot right now. Obviously, coming by points is very much a rarity at this point in the season, with the top 4 teams kind of performing like they are. But I think Haas is kind of rolling right now, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to bring and carry the momentum forward of Miami. They have a couple of weeks to lock in whatever happened there, to unlock whatever is going on with Nico Hülkenberg. And I think in Monaco, we could be seeing a special weekend for Haas. It would be a lot of fun, and I am all for it, and I'll be beating my Homer chest on Twitter if this ends up coming true. And then of course my chat also gives their predictions. Obviously I think they're a little less biased than I am normally, but at the same time they also very confident in Haas. They also say both cars into Q2, not much more than that, but they say both cars into Q2. They predicting 1 car gets damage on lap 1 and kind of just falls away. But that said, we still finish strong, and with 1 car in the points, they specifically predict a P10 and P16 finish. It would be a lovely weekend for Haas. A bit unfortunate for whoever takes damage, but Haas getting points in Monaco, I'm all for it. Guys, Monaco is a special race weekend. I mean, qualifying is the most electric you'll see on the calendar. And the race, while it can be a little processional at times, once you get those strategy elements working into it, as well as some potential rain that might be rolling through the south of France this weekend, you never know what's going to happen. And whether you want to admit it or not, it is always a very memorable race. But what about you? What do you think of my predictions? What are your predictions? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you are also a fellow Formula One fan, whether in the games or in real life, hit that subscribe button. We talk a lot about Formula One, both the games as well as here in real life, obviously. But go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. And yeah, that'll do it for me this weekend, guys. I hope you enjoy the race weekend. We'll be back once it's all over to discuss how it went and how we did with our predictions and anything that might have happened along the way. But until then, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.